Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show. We're your hosts, Ben and Ethan, and we are proud to bring you some of the best tech news here at bedtime. It's been a while, so we'll go ahead and jump right in. We've got a great show lined up for you. And with that, looks like Sam Altman is going to be returning as CEO for OpenAI again. Only after 5 days, he was fired. He is now going to be returning as CEO. To everyone who took a week-long digital detox retreat or got hit in the head with a rock from the news last, you've missed a lot. Luckily for you, we've got it mostly back here, and we started, albeit with an entirely new board, with the exception of Adam D'Angelo, who will remain to represent the views of the former board and maintain OpenAI's leadership. All important skinny twink quota. If you're looking for new info about why Altman was fired in the first place, don't ask Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella, who said even he still doesn't know why he was fired. The prevailing hypothesis so far is that the difference in values between the cautious, safety-minded board and Altman's relatively more gung-ho attitude towards AI development caused the schism. In other words, if you were hit in the head with a rock and then again back at the beginning of this video, you haven't really missed anything. So as you have it, we are here. With that, I kind of wanted to ask you, Ben, I wanted to ask you a question. How does the return of Sam Altman and the addition of Microsoft's OpenAI board influence the direction of AI development and of the company itself in the future?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to impact it. This whole shakedown was really crazy. It just reminds me of the scene in The Office when Michael is talking about getting snipped, and he's like, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip. I'm sure Sam Altman's like, fire me, Harvey, fire me, Harvey, fire me, Harvey. Like, what do you want, And anyway, it's just crazy what happened here and how all the employees were backing Sam and like threatened to leave. But now that Microsoft, now that they're not just an investor, but they're on the board, I think they use this opportunity strategically to wiggle their way in to get more influence and power over OpenAI. I think previously they didn't have that opportunity, and as soon as there was any kind of word of like a shakedown happening, Microsoft was on it. They were like,
oh yeah.
So in my mind, I think Microsoft was they were kind of like the lions in the grass waiting to pounce, And now that they have, now that their meal has had a little bit of confusion, they've pounced. And in my opinion, I think they use this as leverage to kind of get in and gain some more influence and power. I think there's also maybe perspective from employees that like, hey, maybe we have a little bit more stability here and a little bit more maybe not necessarily confidence, but a little bit stronger of a head on their shoulders, knowing that they have Microsoft on the board. Employees can, kind of calm themselves down and realize, this shakedown won't happen again, or hopefully it doesn't happen again, because they have this huge presence that will steady the ship, right? That's kind of my thought, but I haven't really thought about it beyond that. I'm sure there's more to it, but do you have anything to add? What do you think about this? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? What's your perspective?
I think Microsoft was to your point, I think Microsoft was very strategic with this all happening in getting their way to have as much control of this as they possibly can without performing a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
So I think this is good for Microsoft. overall, I think it's probably best for the company of having him as the CEO. I think he has been very ambitious and really pushed OpenAI in such a way that it's grown as much as it has. I don't think without him, I don't think ChatGPT and OpenAI would be probably as successful as it is.
I agree. Yeah.
Um, Now, while I think that, he being there is good for OpenAI, I think it's also kind of scary as well of how fast ChatGPT and OpenAI has grown. And so, with everything else that's gone on, with the push for more regulations on this, I think that would be beneficial. However, for the company itself, I think having Sam Altman come back is going to be a good thing, and it will be good in the long run.
Yeah, I agree. I think for OpenAI, it's a good thing. Whether that's a good thing for the rest of the world, because they are progressing so fast. Um, I mean, there's other companies too that are progressing really quickly,
Mhm.
also. But yeah, I agree with you. I what do you think the reasoning behind this was? Like, take a shot in the dark. What do you think the reason why they let Sam go or they fired him? What was the
My
initial reason?
theory is that the original board was really scared of how fast this is developing, and how, I guess, how gung ho or willing to do everything possible that Sam Altman is. I don't think I don't think they wanted to take that much risk.
Hmm.
It seemed like the original board was more risk averse, whereas Sam is really more into taking risks and pushing it to the edge to get it where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective. Like they've kind of been stepping into the unknown, and Sam's like, let's not just step, let's leap into this unknown.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's a really good perspective. I have zero inclination why, but I think your reasoning is kind of a good guess. I don't know what the purpose was, if they thought there must have been some kind of disagreement. I mean, I know that the head scientist, would brought up some issues with Sam, and that's been what's been reported, but I feel like there's always more to that than just what's on the news articles. So yeah, it's super interesting though. It was so crazy. And it was like all over the weekend, all over one weekend too.
Yeah, all over all over the weekend, and then like, seriously, if you blinked, you missed everything
Yeah,
of how
yeah.
fast it all went.
Yeah, it was like Friday, this happened. Saturday, this happened. Sunday, this happened. It's like, whoa, these are like, if this happened once a month, this would be huge news. But this is
Yeah,
like happening day after day after day after day. And it's like, holy crap. So pretty wild stuff, but
yeah,
they're moving as fast as their AI development. So
yeah. And I mean, it's kind of interesting, like looking at Chat GPT now as it was versus last year when we first started talking about it. It's progressed quite a bit. I mean, now it's able to use Bing as and use the internet to search for stuff now, which is which is to me, it's incredible. It leverages a lot of its ability and tools that it can utilize.
yeah, I agree. It's pretty crazy. And we've also heard of Mid Journey, but now with Dolly and the other capabilities of ChatGPT, it's pretty crazy how you can kind of craft whatever thing you want. I've seen some funny threads where it's like, give me an image of a duck, and it'll be like this cute little cartoon duck, and it's like angrier, and then angrier, and then angrier, and then they show this insane progression of ChatGPT producing this duck that just gets angry and angry until it's like this beyond human reality. It's like cosmic anger level. It's so
Mhm.
funny, but it's crazy how you can guide it and direct it, and it's just so much more intuitive than what it was previously. And previously was mind blowing.
Yeah.
So
And it's gone leaps and bounds since then too.
yeah,
So
pretty wild stuff.
yeah, crazy wild stuff. As the story progresses, we'll keep following it and we'll let you know. However, speaking of partnerships or relationships that aren't going as well as planned, Apple is trying to unwind its Goldman Sachs credit card partnership, which is a bit of a shock to me. Apple has reportedly sent a proposal to Goldman Sachs to end their banking partnership within the next 12 to 15 months, according to sources familiar with this matter who spoke to the Wall Street Journal. That doesn't necessarily mean that Apple's savings accounts and credit cards are coming to an end. That just means that Apple would need to find another issuing partner sometime over the coming year, and it would be a major surprise. However, because the program was extended to 2029, only last year as a part of Goldman's pivot to Main Street, where they would offer services to retail customers, aka people without yachts. However, shortly after that effort led to significant losses, leading Goldman to really reconsider this whole working with the poor thing. It's not just as reliable as it was. Guess they should have been targeting the more affluent rather than the common everyday people. What do you think the strategic benefits or drawbacks might be with Apple dissolving this credit card partnership with Goldman Sachs? And how do you think this could affect the future of Apple itself with the Apple Card and its relationship with customers?
Okay, two good questions. Probably bad answers coming from me. Okay, because I'm not educated in this area or this topic. I don't have an Apple Card myself. I personally think the fact that they're ending this partnership, to me, it kind of signifies the beginning of the end with the Apple Card. But that's because I'm not a user of the Apple Card and I don't see a lot of value in it. So it's hard for me to really say, what implications this might have and what's Apple's next step. I'm trying to think of like, okay, well, where's Apple going to go next? I have a hard time believing that Apple's going to bring a creative credit card offering besides what's already out there if they aren't partnering with someone unique like Goldman.
I heard rumors that they might be partnering with American Express, which to me, if they were, I know that would completely change how the Apple Card is used, the benefits,
Okay.
and the experience of the Apple Card. Not to say that American Express is bad or anything, but American Express is in the business of making money. They're not in the business of saving the spotted owls or penguins or whales or anything philanthropic from them. Because when the Apple Card came out, I found it really strange, and it almost seemed too good to be true that you could finance an Apple product with no interest for 2 years.
Yeah. And like Goldman is known for their high yield savings accounts. And like you get like a higher percentage APY in savings with Apple Card.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my understanding as well.
Yeah. And so I find it really hard because essentially they're loaning out the full price for this and then waiting 2 years before they actually get anything back.
Yeah.
And
because there's no interest. So it's
yeah,
like, how you guys really making money?
yeah. And without looking like on the back end, I don't see how they're making any money off of that.
Is that only for Apple products where it's zero interest?
Yeah. And I mean, depending on the Apple product, like with phones, you can finance that over 2 years. With like their computers, it's like finance over 1 year. And other products, it varies in the term of length, but it's always 0% interest. You get the 3% cash back immediately upon purchase, even if it's
Yeah, that's
finance.
crazy. 3% cash back is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I feel like if they go with like Amex, this is the point I was trying to make, which is like you go with Amex, it's gonna be like every other Amex, just Apple specific instead
Mhm.
of Delta or United or a hotel like Hilton. It's like you get points, you get higher points if you buy Apple products.
Yeah.
That's my assumption, you know?
Mhm.
And it's like, okay. So it's nothing really special. I just felt like their partnership with Goldman brought something really unique.
Yeah.
It was such a different approach to credit cards. I mean, maybe not such a different approach, but it was somewhat
It was
different
a
from,
little innovative.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I mean, the interface for it, how you manage and pay off stuff, I think that was really cool. I mean, I love the app interface
Hmm.
for it. I mean, there's still some features that I wish were still there with other apps, but for something that's new, and how transparent it is on fees and whatnot, I thought that was really cool.
Hmm.
And I mean, the fact that it was a zero annual fee credit card, as well, was something
Yeah.
pretty cool with the type of benefits you got. But I know if they go with like American Express, you are definitely going to get an annual fee, for
Yeah.
sure. And
Yeah. Or if you don't get an annual fee, it's gonna be low benefit,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
And I mean, I'm sure with American Express, you'd get more benefits with it. Cause I mean, I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of benefits to the Apple card other than it's on your iPhone.
yeah. And I don't know. With wallet these days and Apple Pay, it's like it's all kind of digital now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this continues and if it actually stays alive. I mean, I'm curious to see what happens here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Apple Card was a great move by Apple to tie people to the iPhone because, I mean, that's the only way you can manage it. And so when people get that, it's not like they can move to another phone.
Yeah. Makes it stickier.
Mhm.
Yeah. True.
So I think Apple's going to do what they can to keep that just so that they can keep, people locked into their ecosystem.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I mean, I was in a conversation with someone in my job for business, and part of my job is just get kind of like getting to know clients or potential clients, and like we ask about like stream revenue streams, and one of the revenue streams they're like, yeah, like this is a revenue stream and it brings in X amount of revenue, but it doesn't really make us money because the margins are so thin on it. It's kind of like break even, but we have it because it makes the people adopt and use our other main product more. So it's like it's almost like, you know how what do they call the items at the grocery store where they put them on ridiculously cheap sale, but they do that to bring you in to buy other things as well.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like
I don't
I
know what
can't.
it's called, but it's like the rotisserie chicken at Costco. That's all the way in the
Yes,
back. And the
yes,
hot dog.
exactly, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you're only going in for that, but in reality, you're buying
Yep.
other stuff too. It's like it's getting you in there, getting you a lot like on the company's like income stream,
Mhm.
right? You're going to be buying other things there, and so I can see why Apple wants to do this. It makes them stickier with their customers. So it makes sense, you know.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what goes on here, in the next little bit with the Apple Card, and hopefully Apple can continue to make this a viable product to keep it within their ecosystem. In lighter Tesla news, it looks like Tesla is going to be introducing some new fees to limit congestion at their superchargers. So they are going to begin charging $1 for every minute that customers come to charge at a supercharger above 90% battery as a way of reducing congestion. They could also reduce congestion even further by attacking patrons who charge over 95% with murderous robots. That's an idea instead of charging some extra fees. However, this isn't something new, but it seems to be an update to their idle fees that they have here. And I know that usually because there's so many Teslas on the road now and the superchargers haven't been keeping up, there's a lot of congestion, especially if you live in Utah and are charging at one of the Salt Lake City superchargers. They are constantly busy, even at like 9 o'clock at night when nobody should be there. So I wanted to ask you, do you think that this is going to help? Is this going to really get to what Tesla is aiming to do to limit congestion? Or is this just going to be something that is not going to work and is not really getting at the main problem?
Yeah, so I think both. I'm going to say yes to both because we've talked about this so much in the past already that infrastructure is not being built at the same speed that EVs are being adopted. And there's so many EVs on the highway now and not enough infrastructure to support them. And so I don't think this answers the root cause issue here, which is there just needs to be more charging stations, or there needs to be less EVs, which I don't think that's going to be, the latter's not going to happen.
Yeah.
More EVs, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with the reasons why they're pushing EVs. I will not get into that, but I have no issues with EVs. I have issues with the infrastructure or the lack thereof. That's what I have issues with. Now, if I get in the mind of someone, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but sometimes I can be petty. And if I'm waiting 20, 30 minutes in line for a supercharger, you best believe when I get up to that supercharger, I'm getting every last freaking drop of energy, man. I'm on that thing till I get 100. And then, like, if other people are waiting behind me, I'll be like, bro, I was waiting just like you. So I'm going to wait till I get 100%. I'm not going to leave at 85%. So I think them doing this dollar thing, that would change my mindset. Be like, okay, I'll get up to the 90% and then I'm done. I don't want to pay. Like, I don't want to pay $1 for every minute, especially if it takes like 15 minutes for the last 10% or 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes, maybe, whatever. But if you're paying $10, $15, it's kind of like, is that worth it? You know?
Yeah.
Is that kind of just like paying gas?
So, I used to have that mindset too, but having this experience at a supercharger has altered my mindset, mostly because like I've had to sit there for 15 to 30 minutes waiting for a supercharger, albeit the only place that I've ever had to do that is Salt Lake. And so maybe it's just I hate that supercharger station in Salt Lake next to Costco. It's just too busy. But anyway, I've had to sit there and wait. And, for me, I live up north of Salt Lake. And so I still have a long drive after that. And so usually it's like, okay, I'm only going to charge up to the minimum amount that I need just to get me home.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So as petty as I would love to be, it's more like I've already wasted a half hour of my life sitting here. I don't want to waste any more time waiting for it to charge up to 100%, which will take forever.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, go ahead.
But
sorry,
I don't think the fee portion of that is going to change my mindset. It's more so the having to wait at the beginning that changed my mindset and made me super angry, like Hulk rage mad. that I had to wait just to charge up my car for 10 minutes.
Do you think there are a lot of people who do wait until their car is 100%? Or do you think most people are like you and they're like, I just want to get going?
I think there are some people. To me, this okay, maybe this is some naivety on my end, but maybe people who don't understand EVs or are very new to EVs and think that they need to charge to 100% to keep going are the ones that do that.
Yeah.
But I think people who are really familiar with how battery chemistry works and how to optimally drive an EV never really charge them up to 90% or 100%. It's usually only you charge them up to the minimum amount that you need just to get to your next charger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Okay. That makes sense.
I think the only people that this is going to affect are really people that don't understand battery chemistry and how to maximize your enjoyment with an EV.
You know what I have in my head? And this is so bad. This is so bad. This is the ideal person that I have in my head. And maybe this is a reflection of how I think I am. This is the ideal person I have in my head that just sits there out of pettiness to charge to 100%. It's a blonde bimbo Karen who has her sugar daddy buy her a Tesla. And she's got these long fake pink nails sitting in the front seat, scrolling through her social media as she waits for that 99% to go to 100%. That's who I imagine doing this. Just this annoying person, it's like,
Yeah.
you're so petty. Look at you. So vain and petty. But like I said, maybe that's a self-reflection. I don't know. But yeah, you're probably right. As someone who does not drive an EV, I don't know the experience. So I look to you and what your experience is. So I trust your opinion on that.
Yeah. The biggest advice if you're in Utah, do not go to the Salt Lake City supercharger. Just go to any other one or yeah.
Charge at home.
Yeah, charge at home or tow your car somewhere to another one, to the next nearest one. It's not worth it.
It's like tow truck driver comes up. All right, I can tow your EV for $90, or I can take you to the Tesla supercharger in Salt Lake City. All right, I'll give you $100. Take me home.
$100.
Tip ya.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
That's funny.
Well, some other news about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is claiming that advertisers are trying to blackmail him and has some accentuating phrases as to how he feels about that. Go ahead and break this down for us.
Yeah, so Elon was at the 2023 Deal Book Summit in New York. And a lot of big companies didn't really like some of his tweets, which were anti-Semitic and racist hate. That's kind of what everyone's calling, the White House called it, and a lot of other people are agreeing with it. I actually didn't see any of the tweets, so I can't speak to them. But it does sound like they were pretty crazy. Elon apologized for them, but essentially a lot of large advertisers such as Disney, Apple, and others said they're going to suspend their campaigns, their advertising on X, and Elon could potentially lose like $70+ million in advertising revenue. And Elon feels as though this is kind of a blow or a pressure point. And Elon's like the honey badger. Elon doesn't give a fuck. And that's what he said. He said, if somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go F yourself. Go F yourself. Is that clear? End quote. And then he particularly says, hi, Bob, in reference to Bob Iger at Disney. Literally calls Bob out at Disney and just says, go F yourself, dude. I don't care. And this news, I didn't see this, this was told to me from our good friend Ethan Kaleo. Kaleo was telling me about it and sent me the video. And it just blew me away that this happened. And we were just laughing so hard. And Kaleo's like, that is a whole different level of FU money. When you can tell the biggest companies in the world, go F yourself and not
Yeah.
even care about the repercussions. Oh my gosh, man. It's just so wild. It's just so wild. So
There's-
I don't know. What do you think about this? Do you think he's is actually being blackmailed? Do you think that he overreacted here? Or do you think it's like, Elon's gonna be Elon, who cares?
He's going to be Elon for sure. Um, I think it was a, I think it's a bit of an overreaction on his part. However, I understand his frustration with something that something that he's talked a lot about through his takeover of Twitter, um, X as it is now. He's always purported free speech, and that was something that he was saying. He was expressing an opinion, albeit that other people didn't value his opinion or respect it, and now they are doing something in return of that. I think that's an overreaction as well. And so I think it's just kind of snowballed into what we have now, to some comedic relief here on our show.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. But I'm seriously, this is to a next level. If you can say that, and losing um more than $70 million for on advertising and be okay with it, that shows that you're doing okay and you don't really care. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I just so I do think this is just Elon being himself. And I think everyone knows how much of a quirky, I'll use that term, quirky guy that Elon is. Um, but this is really bold. And I don't know if I necessarily blame the big companies for wanting to back out of X. If it, like I said, I didn't see any of the anti-Semitic tweets that he tweeted or posted, the post that he posted. Um, so I can't speak to that at all, but companies can choose to do what they want. I will say, I think there is a lot of pressure. Like these big companies are being strategic about this.
Mhm.
They're using. I think that yes, that's a huge issue. Hate speech and anti-Semitism, um, and anti-Muslim speech is really bad. Um, but with that being said, like that's always kind of been on social media. Unfortunately, super sad to say.
Mhm.
Now that it's coming from the owner, I can see why companies are leaving, but I also think you kind of used it as like an out, an opportunity to go
Yeah.
out. Like like I play soccer. And so if I'm in the penalty box and someone kicks my leg, I I have a reason to go down. I don't have to go down, but I have a reason to. And I might take that opportunity to go down to ward my team a penalty kick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I see Elon's point here. I don't think it warrants this kind of reaction. I think it's him really just throwing his weight around like, I really don't care. But again, I don't think that's the right reaction. I also see the big company's perspective as well. They don't want to support a company that doesn't align with their values and the consumers dictate how well these companies do, and they want to make sure their consumers are happy, and they don't want to have any bad press being
Yeah.
on a platform with an owner that's anti-Semitic. or they made anti-Semitic comments, I should say.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. I don't really understand emails or Elon's point of blackmailing. That's where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was a little bolstering.
Yeah.
And I think the word he may be the correct term would be extortion.
Yeah,
But
I agree. I think blackmailing, in my opinion, is like, I don't know about that.
yeah, it's a little inflammatory.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But you know, as you said, Elon is quirky, but he's rich, so I guess that makes him eccentric.
Yeah, that's right. He's eccentric. Excuse me. Quirky is for the poor man like me.
Yeah.
I'm quirky.
Poor
Elon's
people are quirky. He's
Yeah.
eccentric.
Yeah. Thank you for that correction.
Well, speaking of corrections, Call of Duty promises to make skill-based matchmaking part of our ongoing discussions with the community.
Yeah.
What do we have going on here, Ben?
Yeah, so Call of Duty, they make their matchmaking and their multiplayer skill-based matchmaking. So they try and put you with people with the same skill level. And a lot of people just don't like it. They don't like how the lobbies just are really competitive, and
They're
they make a
sweaty
scene
all the
here.
time.
What's that?
They're sweaty all the time.
Yeah, super sweaty, right? And so a lot of people just don't like that. And then also there's a comment here that says, um, there's been complaints for many reasons. One, it means that playing with friends at different skill levels can be difficult. So, for example, if I am a player that plays all the time and my skill is higher than our good friend Kaleo, who we've mentioned, it's actually the opposite. But let's just say Kaleo joins me. He's like, "Oh, I never play Call of Duty." He'll come into my party group, and then we'll go into my lobbies against people who are really ridiculously good, and then Kaleo's going to get mopped, right? Because my skill is pushing us into a lobby that's higher level of skill, because they don't want to put me with people who suck, right? And so that's one complaint. And then it just hasn't been really that fun for a lot of people, because they feel like they can't be going, they feel like they're always having to compete. Whereas before, it would be a mixture, a hodgepodge of different people with different skill base. And even you and I love this aspect. They used to even show the lobby ranking and where you ranked based on your skill, like your KD ratio, your points per game, et cetera. You could see where it was ranked before the game started. And it was always a mixture, it was always a mixture. So Call of Duty now is saying, hey, we've heard the complaints. We're going to try and make it so, we try and listen to you. In my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like it's a PR stunt. I don't think they're actually going to listen. In my personal opinion, I don't think there should be skill-based matchmaking in casual multiplayer. Leave that for ranked or hardcore. Don't put it in casual multiplayer. It's casual multiplayer. For casual. Just let everyone play with everyone.
Yeah.
If there's one dude in the lobby who's freaking good, just have your whole team target that one dude,
Exactly.
So that's my personal opinion. Do you think Call of Duty is going to live up to this promise that they're going to make this topic a part of the ongoing discussions with the community? Do you think they'll listen? What are your opinions on skill-based matchmaking and Call of Duty's perspective here?
I don't think Call of Duty is going to listen. They haven't listened to the community for years. And I definitely hate skill-based matchmaking, mostly because I play with you and Kaleo, and you both play all the time, and I play on the weekend, and I'm always in a sweaty lobby.
Sorry, Ethan. Sorry about that.
I know. Really, I should just play more. So, but
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Although with this new job that I have not been playing very much, to be honest.
so
So
maybe you and I should just play together because then maybe we'll be in the same lobbies and
I
we'll
think
just
that's
dominate.
probably our strategy from now on. Yeah.
Okay, deal. I like that strategy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I honestly, I since they put in skill-based matchmaking as it is today, since like Modern Warfare 2019, I haven't enjoyed Call of Duty as much as I did with like Black Ops 3 or World War II. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, those were like the really fun times of Call of Duty where I would play for hours. And
I agree.
I shouldn't have been because I was in the middle of law school.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean though. It was so fun. It was so
Yeah.
fun.
And so, I mean, I think, yeah, I like your opinion. Leave skill based matchmaking for ranked. And when you're just playing a casual game, let people play casually. Um, Keep them in the same lobbies like they used to. Because I always remember like you stuck with the same lobby. And so you could have kind of like feuds going with people like, oh, I got to play him again. We got to win.
I love that. That
Yeah.
was so fun.
Or when you'd have somebody really good, like, okay, we got to get out of this lobby. And then you jump back in the game and you're in the same lobby and they're just trying to
And
get
you're
out
like,
of
no.
it. So I mean that brought a level of fun and anxiety that I miss. And so essentially I want them to bring Call of Duty back to how it was in my childhood. A
I
fully
agree.
baked game with no skill-based matchmaking as it is today.
Do you think with Microsoft now owning it, things will change?
I would have hope that it would, but based on how Halo turned out, no, I don't think it's going to change. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it will either. I think Microsoft bought it for the money,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just use the same teams, and then they'll just be more strategic about how they deploy it, where they deploy it, cross console, getting as much licensing revenue as they possibly can. I don't think it'll change. I would love for it to go back to what it was. I also think another factor that blocks Call of Duty to going back to what it was with like those lobbies, recurring same lobbies, and open ranked, and then also being able to chat with the lobby before the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think now like in Warzone, you have prox chat, but um, I don't think we're gonna go back to that because Call of Duty has really cracked down on like community guidelines and hate
Yeah.
speech and being respectful. And I understand from like a PR standpoint, they got to do that, but that's also like, and maybe this is bad. That's also like part of the fun and culture of Call of Duty was like
Yeah.
being able to kind of trash talk and
The toxicity.
yeah, the toxicity was kind of fun. So maybe I'm one of those boyfriends in a very abusive relationship, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that stuff. It's like, it's like the toxicity maybe was a little fun. Just to like rile people up in the lobbies.
Yeah.
Just random call out. It's so fun sometimes, just to get a
Yeah.
reaction. Poke the bear a little bit.
And I mean, now, like, I think they've even instituted that camping is now a form of cheating and you can
No
get
way.
banned for camping. Yeah. So I'm
Wow.
screwed because that's all I do. I pitch up a tent and I sit there the whole map.
Just mount that gun in the back spawn area, wait for guys to come through and blow them down.
Yeah. And
That's
I
really
mean,
dumb to do that.
yeah, I mean, I think Call of Duty is like always with like the kill cam. That's like their biggest way of combating campers because you know exactly where they are. And
Yeah,
so it's not like it's hard to kill them.
I know. Yeah, I agree. It's like I'm staying in the same spot here and you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Stop doing the same thing. And I wouldn't
Yeah,
care.
That's called insanity.
It
Doing the
is.
same thing, hoping for a different outcome.
Yeah.
Um,
So I
yeah, go
think
ahead. Sorry.
I think like some of the PR efforts that Activision and Call of Duty are making uh, is not going in the direction that the community would like it to.
Yeah,
It
kind of.
kind of seems like they're trying to um, solve a problem without getting to the underlying issue of everything.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with you. I think I agree with you on that. Which is unfortunate from a gamer experience, but
Yeah.
yeah. There's another point I wanted to make, and I totally forgot. I completely forgot what I was going to say, but it was about Call of Duty and playing and stuff. But anyway, we've talked a good amount about it. So
Yeah. Maybe they just need to bring jetpacks back.
yeah, wall running,
Yeah.
jetpacks. That was fun.
Bring that back. So
Bring it back, baby.
all right. Well, we want to thank everyone for your support and sticking with us through this podcast and through the rest of the show. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this video. It really helps with the algorithm. If you disliked it, yes, that other button works all right too. Send it to somebody you disliked. Always make sure you ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you never miss any content as it's posted to the channel. So until next time, keep up with that news and stay classy, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.